All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Be Cool, helping us pay less for school. We really appreciate each and every one of you being here tonight, talking about a very important topic and how do we make higher education affordable, making a plan for it. So we appreciate you spending a Monday night with us talking about this important topic. So as we're going through this, if you have questions, we'll monitor the chat. We've got Shelly and Elisa here to help me out with that because sometimes I just get zoned in on the presentation and doing that. And again, towards the end here, we'll be giving away a $25 digital Amazon gift card as well to help with some of those college expenses here. So my name is Tony Byer. Hi. I should probably introduce myself at the beginning. That's just nice and polite. I am our financial wellness coordinator here at Altra Federal Credit Union. And again, the information that we're sharing, it was, as far as I could find, accurate as of this morning, but things always changing with higher education and things like that. And a lot of this, we'll talk about just some national numbers because some of this may differ from state to state, school to school. But we'll definitely share a lot of those different resources and ways that we can, again, make school more affordable. So appreciate each and every one of you being here this evening. So right off the bat, when it comes to college, when it comes to paying for school, I'm going to put up a poll here, and it is going to be a word cloud. So if you're on Teams, here we'll be able to launch. Here we go. But right off the bat, would love to know, when it comes to life after high school, what comes to mind? So feel free to put that there in the word cloud, or you are able to put that in the chat as well. But would love to see some of the results that are coming in here. So back to the question again, life after high school, what comes to mind? So Katrina saying freedom, college. I know some of you probably can't wait to be done here. Freedom's nice. Here we go. We'll go back to our polls here. All right, excellent. So we got a couple. We'll go right here. So Lee will close that poll. Excellent. So we got a couple of responses with this. So talking about, freedom comes to mind, college comes to mind. So on the topic of college, what's the first thought that comes to mind when it comes to paying for college? When it comes to paying for college. Again, feel free to put that in the poll as well. So first thing I see here, student loans. We will talk a little bit about that. Anything you can do to reduce your student loan burden, certainly do that. Expensive is another word that we're seeing here. Expensive, a big one. So again, glad you're here talking about how can we make this all more affordable. Loans, Katrina saying impossible, hopefully not impossible with this, but we're going to close that poll. Close it, and we will get rid of that. All right, so very common when I ask this, students talking about what comes to mind and then also what they think about when it comes to college here. But the good news is, and this is according to the National Center for Education Statistics, most students, they overestimate the costs here as well. And then also something also that is nice, most students don't pay the full price tag when it comes to school. So again, finding ways in which we can make this all more affordable. So to give you some numbers here, taking a look at some national numbers with all of this. So this is information from educationdata.org. It's a nonprofit, just research organization all about education. So this was updated here a little over a month ago. And for public two-year colleges, now I know this number is a little bit up there, and I'll show you some of the different states in which we have ultras in. But there's, more than $17,000. Now, there are some specialty schools and things like that that kind of inflate that number a little bit with some of those technical colleges or vocational schools or two-year schools. National, when it comes to public four-year college, and this is somebody who is an in-state resident going to it, that is $27,146 every year. Now, all of this includes, I want to say, this is not only tuition and fees, but this was also room and board. This is also food as well. So we try to get, the entire cost of all of this in there as well, not just the tuition and fees. If it's somebody who is attending a school out of state, that could be more than $45,000 on average nationally. And then a private four-year school, that is $58,628, and that's the whole cost of tuition. The yearly cost of attendance, again, that's tuition, fees, books, could be, room and board, all of that information as well. So try to include all of that here. And just to compare those numbers with the states in which we have ultras in, so we're in Colorado, Minnesota, New Jersey, Tennessee, Texas, here in Wisconsin. So how those numbers differ a little bit when compared to those markets in which we have an ultra federal credit union in them as well. So again, we might have viewers of people all over the place talking about this. How can we make things more affordable? How can we do it here? So there are 6 different ways in which we could pay for college. So the first 4: grants, scholarships, work-study programs, and loans. Those are typically going to be what we consider financial aid. So financial aid is not just student loans. It's not just grant scholarship. It's that all 4 of those together. And then the next 2, it's going to be savings that we have for college or other resources that might be available to us. And we consider those personal resources. So that breakdown of how we're able to pay for all that. And within the financial aid, the first 2 there, that's gift aid. So that is aid in which we do not have to pay that back. Definitely do everything to maximize what we're getting as far as grants and then scholarships. If you get nothing else out of this today, apply. So that is aid that you do not have to pay back. And then work study and loans, those are considered self-help. So work study, obviously you're going to have to work, for that. And then those loans, that's something we're going to have to pay back later. But anything you could do to lower your student loan burden, certainly do that. They're really, really important. So this is numbers. These come from academic year. So a couple years ago from Sallie Mae, the numbers that they crunched as far as paying for college resources, things like that. So, encompassing, those different types of aid. So the biggest part that they found, that's that blue area, and that's parents' income, and that is savings there. That makes up about 38% of the average college spending. And again, this was academic year 2023, 2024, so just 2 years ago. And they say on average it was $28,409. So that's well within that national average that we looked at. Scholarships and grants makes up a significant portion of that, 27% of how students pay for college. So more than a quarter of that is in that gift aid. Again, that is aid that we do not have to repay. 12%, that's going to be those student loans. That's going to be the borrowing, and we'll talk more about that. 11%, that could be parents on their own borrowing for their child's education as well. 11%, that is income that is provided by the student, working while they're in school, saving, and then possibly relatives or other friends helping out a little bit. So in many ways, it takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of people working together. And how do we get our people? How do we make all this possible? But that's kind of a snapshot of how those are paid for college. And again, college, I don't have to tell you, it keeps continuing to rise. and keep getting more and more expensive here. Certainly, since when I went to school, I could tell you that. Uh, So where this all starts, how we're able to get those grants, how we're able to really apply for school, get used to the word FAFSA. It is the free application for federal student aid. So FAFSA, not FAFSA, FAFSA. FAFSA. So things that you're going to need to complete the FAFSA, you will apply for a federal student aid ID. So not only the student will do this, but any parent or parents that also need to be on the FAFSA, they will also apply for their own student aid ID. And that is something you could do at fafsa.gov. And it's all pretty much all online. This has very much changed again since I went to college. That was printing off pages and frustration and a lot of confusion. So the FAFSA, they've worked pretty hard over the last couple of years to simplify this as well. There have been, it has been delayed the last couple of years rolling it out, but they are fairly confident, at least the interim Secretary of Education, so who was filling in before the current, it said it should be ready to go by October 1st. So getting back on that regular schedule of the FAFSA is what is expected for the next FAFSA. You'll also need your Social Security number with the ID, driver's license, state ID if you have one. So they'll want to know your federal tax return, also parents' tax returns as well. If you're a dependent student, more than likely you will be. We'll talk about that in the next slide, I believe. Any untaxed income. So Uncle Sam and Aunt Samantha, they want to know about all income when it comes to the FAFSA and what could happen as far as, financial aid, your assets. So those are things of value to be putting down, all part of net worth. And then list of schools you're interested in attending as well. And with the online form, you can add up to 20 different schools and you can change them out if you like. So again, every contributor needs to apply for a federal student aid ID, and you can do all of this at studentaid.gov. Your student aid index, so that is what is expected of possibly what a student and family may be able to provide towards education. As well. It used to be called the expected family contribution. They've changed their formula around a little bit. And the numbers, they say, aren't quite as high as they used to be with the EFC. With that online form, like I mentioned, you can add up to 20 colleges. With that, if you do print it out with the PDF, that form only has room for 10, but you can do an addendum. You can submit a new form or change any of those out. To be honest, I'd recommend it's going to be a lot easier to do this online than it is to do it on paper. Yeah, don't do what I had to do way back in the day and everything on paper and mailing and guessing. Like, I think this is what they mean. They say it's been streamlined quite a bit. So the FAFSA, again, studentaid.gov is where we're going to find a lot of great information on all of this. And you're going to have a whole FAFSA dashboard here as well. And also, we don't have to submit your tax information, find that, gather that. They can pull forms directly from the IRS with that. So you can link that information as well. So you're not having to take information, enter it. Numbers could get mixed up. You never know with that. And just a reminder, tomorrow is tax day. So make sure taxes are filed or postmarked or applying for an extension or anything like that. But just a little bit different. But taxes, yes. When you do the taxa, think about the FAFSA. I'm trying to make that rhyme. It's never worked. But anyway, and like I said, so those that are going to be going to college, the 2026-2027 school year, so it could be potentially high school juniors this year, it is supposed to be available October 1st. Students that are going to college next year, that the FAFSA is out. So if you have not filled that out yet, make sure you do that. Because especially when it comes to the grants and things like that, some of that aid, I mean, it kind of goes on a first come, first serve basis, and it's all really based on need. here as well. Now, talking about grants, with this is money that you do not have to repay. It is money from the state. It's from the federal government. It could be from the college as well. And again, it does not have to be repaid. With that financial need, those with extreme need or a higher elevated need, they typically get first priority. But we'll have to complete the FAFSA. All of this starts with the FAFSA. And then, looking at what you can apply for or what may work for you for when it comes to the state that you are in and possibly the college that you are going to as well. So again, every state's going to be a little bit different with that, but take a look at those grants. Can't stress that enough. But a big one, scholarships. Apply when it comes to these. Again, this is money that you do not have to repay. That is money given by colleges, by organizations, and you can get them for good grades, for community service. Altra gives a community service scholarship. I believe this year we're giving either 16 or 17 off the top of my head. They're $1,000 scholarships. That scholarship period just closed, but I will tell you about another scholarship that we have that is open here for another week here. Could be athletic ability, other unique personal quality. So there are scholarships out there for everyone. Look, apply. Search for scholarships online. If you are a current high school student, your guidance office is going to be a great resource for this. Complete those applications. And some may require the FAFSA to be completed as well. With that, again, if you're going to college, any sort of higher education will need to fill out the FAFSA. So scholarship resources, look for those that are local, those that are in your community. So again, your guidance office is going to be a great example, but if there's any, employers, or maybe if there's a parent or guardian or those that, they may work someplace that may do a scholarship or something like that. Look for federal and different state agencies that may offer scholarships. There may be scholarships from the schools that you were looking at as well. So, be in touch and scour their websites and talk to their financial aid offices. There may be scholarships within the school that you are attending. Perhaps religious organizations, places of worship may offer scholarships. Again, your employer, or maybe, it could be a family member, a parent, guardian, grandparent, aunt, uncle, who knows. They may provide scholarships to students. Your library is also a great resource for this. Your library may even offer a scholarship as well, but they may have, more information. They are a great resource. So utilize your local libraries. Private organization, major companies, perhaps in your area. Like I mentioned, Altra, we provide a couple different scholarships. Our Tom Brock Community Scholarship, that at this time it has closed for this year. But if you're, let's say, a junior, maybe even a sophomore, somebody younger, thinking about that next year, that typically opens in early January, and the application period goes through mid-March. So we just missed that one, but I'll tell you about another one here in just a moment. But take a look at organizations and companies. They may offer a scholarship, and look online. A lot of different resources on there. So search engines that can, aggregate results, and pull those from a variety of areas as well, based on a profile, or interests or skills you may have. So all things to think about. And again, like I mentioned before, your guidance office can be a great resource there at your school. Some more information from Sally Mae. Take a look for what's free out there. There are search engines and things like that you pay for. A lot of them are just aggregating the same results you could find yourself for free. So take a look at what's free. Sites that, they validate scholarships. You don't want to apply for a scholarship and find out that, it's not being offered any longer, or it hasn't been awarded, since 2018 or something like that, and spend all that work and do that. You want to make sure that you're applying for scholarships before the deadline. So you don't want to be applying for scholarship, get to the end and realize I missed the application period with that. If you're able to filter those scholarships, so again, by, grades, ability, where we're going, a lot of different ways in which we can find scholarships that are a good match for us. If you're able to, again, adjust some of those settings, and then if you get alerts to help keep you on track with all of this, and then be able to save profile information, are all good things to think about with this. But if you think about the time, it's going to take time, it's going to take effort when it comes to applying for it. But really, the return on your investment can be huge if you spend a couple of hours, applying for 3 or 4 different scholarships, and let's say we get one, for $200. We spend 2 hours doing this. We just $100 an hour, so that return can be great. But again, it does take time, it does take effort, but it is well worth it. Can't stress that enough. So when it comes to a checklist, identify and make a list of your strengths. So this is going to come in handy, not only for scholarships, but also we might have to, write an essay or something like that when it comes to a scholarship. So what makes us unique? What makes us deserving of this scholarship? So that can help, those different prompts. And when it comes to some of that writing, because more likely it's probably going to involve some sort of essay and sell yourself, why we're the ideal candidate. Focus on scholarships that are a good fit for you. We're not just, applying for anything and everything and just, putting a whole bunch. We're going to get, rejected a lot. We're going to more than likely not get a lot of those things. So put more time and effort into those that actually fit us, and we're more likely to win those than just doing something very general and mediocre all over the place and we get nothing. Don't forget to look local as well. Not only, big national organizations or state or things like that, but, what's in your community? Your top colleges that you're looking at, what scholarships might they offer as well? So again, contacting their financial aid office at where we're interested in applying. Get organized with all this. So getting, potential essay together, any letters of recommendation that we may have from, teachers, leaders, bosses, who knows. But, have all that information organized, make a list of what we're planning on applying for so we don't miss anything. Make sure we're meeting those deadlines. And again, apply for these scholarships. We do have a bonsai scholarship. We have 2 $5,000 scholarships that we are giving away here at Altra. So it is, we'll need to complete the bonsai teen program, take the pre-test, take the post-test, life scenarios, and then there's a few essay questions asking, what are some things that you learned or how might you apply this in the future? So you've got a little more than a week to apply for that. You can find it on our website. It is it's on the street, it's on the banner that's going along there, or I have the website there at the bottom of altra.org about us. And actually, while I have this right here, we'll put that right there in the chat. So that is our Bonsai Teen Ultra Foundation, or excuse me, our Bonsai Scholarship with this. We're giving away 2 of them, $5,000. So that's significant right there. That could really help you when it comes to applying for college. And this is open to any high school student right now. Don't have to necessarily be a high school senior as well. Just going to school, I believe, in the next 4 years, and it could be a 2-year school or 4-year school, as long as we're going to be going to college in the future. So something to think about, but that's significant. So yeah, take a moment and apply for that. So another way that we can make all this work is through work study. So that is part-time jobs. We're on campus, and that can help us pay for some of these college costs as well. Students earn at least minimum wage, may get class credit, things like that. And this is something actually my cousin did, and also her husband as well. So that's how they were able to get their graduate degree, and then also both of them their doctoral degrees as well by working for the university. After having the graduate degree, teaching some freshman level classes or things like that. But both of them were able to do that as well. So a way to pay for school by working for the school as well. Typically, it's going to be students who are U.S. citizens, permanent residents, those with financial need as well. going to have to complete the FAFSA in order to get into the school, and then finding a job that accepts work study as students when they get on campus. A lot of these jobs, they are going to be competitive, as you can imagine, with this, but it can be a great way to pay for school and while getting credit as well while we're studying. So work study can be another way in which we can pay for school by working for the school. Loans. This was, I know, in that word cloud and in the chat, mentioning student loans. Now, graduating with student loans is incredibly common, as you can imagine. So I know this is an older number, 2015. What I've found elsewhere, just kind of digging around online, numbers were pretty similar in the ballpark of about 70%. The students are borrowing some sort of money for their financial education, and they're graduating with an average of just a little more than $30,000 of student loan debt. And this information comes from the Institute of College Access and Success as well. Like I said, I found similar numbers elsewhere that kind of reiterate this, so those numbers haven't changed incredibly. But again, it's very common to graduate school with some sort of debt here. It's money that you're borrowing for school, and then we'll pay it back. Students borrow money. Parents can also borrow money, but we want the students are going to have more options and things like that. We'll talk about that in the next slide. But we should exhaust those loans first, and then want to complete the FAFSA. Again, all of this, the FAFSA, free application for federal student aid. If you're on a site that is asking for credit card information or payment information, but get away from that. That is the first F in FAFSA is free. So don't have to pay for that whatsoever. But I know that there are sites out there that will basically take your information, take your money, and then plug that into the FAFSA for something that you can already do yourself for free here. We want to borrow responsibly. Don't borrow, only accept what you need. Just because we're offered more than what we may need, we do not have to take it. And we'll show you on an award letter where we might find that information. A good idea to exhaust our options when it comes to federal student loans, then looking into private. Big reason for that, federal student loans are typically going to have a lower interest rate. So again, interest is that cost of borrowing money. So not only do we have to pay back what we borrow, but the interest on top of that. Federal loans are going to be typically cheaper, less interest. The interest is going to be lower than on private loans. And also, federal loans are going to have a lot more repayment options when it comes, other than private loans. We want to look for subsidized loans first and then unsubsidized. So subsidized loans, they will accrue no interest while we're in school. And while we're more than 6 full-time, and they consider that 6 credits a semester. If we go below 6, then we're not considered we will be less than half-time with this. So no interest is accruing while we're in school with subsidized loans. With unsubsidized, interest is growing while we're in school. So that's why we want to maximize the subsidized loans first before the subsidized loans. And again, like I mentioned, students should look into these before parents, just because, again, student loans are going to have more repayment options. They're going to have lower interest rates as well than a parent taking a loan out for a child. And here's kind of a breakdown, and this is information from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And so when it comes to repayment for federal student loans, there is a 6-month grace period after we graduate or after we drop down below 6 credits or we leave school. So you have that time. No student loan payments are due. So they want to get on your feet, find a job, make an income, and then make a plan when it comes to paying back those federal loans. Private loans, they may vary. A lot of them that I've seen do have a 6-month grace period, but not all of them are going to have that. So they're going to vary quite a bit. The grace period with federal loans is 6 months. Private loans may not have that. What I've seen many of them do, but again, they may not. But federal loans are going to have that. So who services the loan? That means who are we making those payments to? Who is holding on to that? And with federal loans, there are a few different servicers with this, and your loans may jump around a little bit. So I will let you know that with these, but they are assigned randomly with that. With that private loan, it's going to be that financial institution, that company. They're going to hold on to it the whole time. So you're making the payments directly with them. So that's something to know when it comes to your payments. That may change. Your student loan may change hands in the future. So keeping your information up to date so they can get a hold of you if things are going to be changing is really, really important. And then again, a lot of different repayment options when it comes to federal loans. So the standard repayment plan is going to be 10 years of payments of your student loans. But there are payment plans that can be based on your income, and they could be stretched out to make things more affordable over 15, 20, up to 25 years as well. And then also with federal loans, there's a possibility that we may qualify for public service loan forgiveness. So after 10 years of consecutive on-time payments, depending on where we're working and what industry we're working in, we could possibly have the remainder of our student loans forgiven as well. So that is a possibility. That doesn't exist with private student loans as well. And we have a whole nother presentation talking about the repayment stuff, and did that previous as well. And that's something we'll be doing again, but just to know about those loans. But again, look for those federal ones first and look for the subsidized ones of the federal ones first. So I mentioned we apply for school. We're going to get an award letter. So I'm going to see. This will come up here because I know we're not going to be able to see it here. Hopeful. Okay. So this is one that I could find that was pretty recent. Looks like it's from St. Thomas Aquinas College. So it's going to have your recipient. It's going to have, again, that student aid index, that SIE. So they're saying that could possibly be up to this much. Your financial aid package, so it's going to have tuition, fees, room and board, your total estimated cost with all of this. So after your scholarships, after any grants are possibly awarded, it'll let you know, okay, this is what you can expect to pay after all these things are exhausted. You can accept loans. You can say, I only want this much with it. But again, being in touch with your financial aid office is going to be important. But you'll get something like this from each college that you apply to and are accepted to here as well. So some of that information, how we can compare schools, here wanted to share with you some different sites here, and that's going to be populated here in the chat. So the first one I have, that's going to be the FAFSA. You can go to FAFSA.gov, and well, that's the address that's going to pop up there. But just below that, it is going to be the U.S. Department of Education, the college scorecard. So take a look at that. That's a great way to compare different schools. They have just about every college you can think of, 2-4 year on there. So you can kind of get an idea of what we can expect to pay. What are some of the different not only tuition, but the different fees, books, the overall cost of attendance, possible room and board and things like that. But a lot of this information we're getting from studentaid.gov. Really recommend going there. And then understanding some of the different aid types is that next link that we have here in the chat. But this is an idea of what we would get from a college, and this is just a sample one from one that I could find from a college that looked pretty recent on here as well. So it's going to have a whole breakdown of what we can expect to pay, what kind of aid are we getting from all of this as well. Now, when it comes to that student aid index, before working for Altra, I did work in higher education for a for-profit college. So I didn't work directly in financial aid, but I know a little bit about financial aid from my experience working in admissions and working for a college, and would get students that say, this says my family can contribute this much. I'm not getting any help from my family. I'm not, look at that slide that we looked at before, so much we're getting from family, friends, things like that. Why can't I do this on our own? So we're typically considered a dependent student. So we're going to be dependent on a parent or parents. And if parents, two different households, it's going to be who you spend more time with. They say, I spend equal time with both. Federal government's going to say 365 days in a year. It's an odd number. You're going to spend one more day or a little bit more than one is kind of what they say. So we're only considered an independent student if we are 24 years or older. If we are married, if we are a graduate or a professional student, so we already have a degree, we are a veteran, or we are currently a member of the armed forces, that we are an orphan, a ward of the court, if we have legal dependents, so if we have a child, or we are an emancipated minor or someone that is homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. Those are the only ways in which the FAFSA and everything is going to look only at our income. Otherwise, it's going to be looking at not only the student's income and stuff, it's going to be looking at parent or guardians or those that we may depend on there as well. So that is the dependency status of that. And also, and I'm not telling you to do this whatsoever, but we did have two students that they were planning on getting married already, and they were, and they ended up like that day going to like the courthouse and getting married, coming back and say, hey, I'm married. And it's like, yes, you are. Okay. I'm not saying do that, but I do know of a story of a student doing that, but not putting any ideas in anyone's heads, not something you want to rush into, but they were already planning on getting married. They just, did it right there. So again, not telling you to do that, but that is how they became an independent student. So when it comes to financial management with all of this, it could be a very exciting time when it comes to, high school is over, thinking about how we can pay for higher education. You want to identify, different goals that we have when it comes to personal and financial goals. What is important to you? And that needs to be in your spending plan. Evaluate current trends. So right now we're in tax time. So, we might be getting a tax return, let's say, but, we can't count on that all the time. That's just one part of the year. And also know that if we're getting a tax return, that's extra money that we've been giving Uncle Sam and Aunt Samantha. That's money we haven't had access to all year. So know those trends, bake those in there. And there might be times where we have more expenses as well. So planning on those and things that we see coming. We want to assign priorities. Those needs got to come first, and everyone's needs are going to be a little bit different with those. But what's important to you, it's got to take precedent in the spending plan. Develop that timeline for the month. So we may know that we get paid these days, we have bills due these days, but understanding, how our cash flow is going to be throughout the month. I really recommend all of this, keeping it simple, keeping track on pen and paper or something of that nature. If it's something super complicated, we're probably not going to stick with it This takes time and practice. And there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be things that happen. I teach this stuff and talk about it all the time, and I make impulse decisions, or I buy things that aren't on the spending plan. That's okay. Just do what you can to get back on track. Remain flexible with your plans. What works for one person may not work for another. So find out what works for you. Again, keeping it simple, like I mentioned, review, revise, rinse, and repeat with all of this. So if we are borrowing money for college, here's some tips on credit management with this. Now, my freshman year of college, that's how I got started with credit. Well, the student loans, but I actually got my first credit card because I wanted a T-shirt going into a basketball game. They're set up right outside the door like, hey, get this T-shirt. All you got to do is fill out this application. Boom, T-shirt's yours, free. So I filled it out. Friends of mine that I was with, they filled it out very quickly. It asked for a lot of information. Asked them, we get in. I'm like, how'd you guys fill that out so quickly? Like, it was like, there was a lot of info. I'm like, oh, we didn't put any of our real information. We just scribbled a bunch of stuff. And guess who did put his real information? This guy. So that free T-shirt ended up coming with the credit card. I used the credit card for food and getting back home from college and things like that. I mean, I had food on campus. I didn't want that food. That free T-shirt ended up costing me a lot of money and interest. So that free T-shirt wasn't actually free. So, be aware of that as well. And the first card that I had was 24.99% interest. So not a great, and I didn't even get the design of the card that I checked and wanted as well. So with that, so do be careful with that. But yeah, 18-year-old me, I wanted a free T-shirt, and that's how I got my first credit card. So understand how student loans can impact your credit. So I mean, if you are somehow, able to make payments on your student loans while you're at college, awesome. But make sure that you're able to make those payments in full and on time. A big one with that. When it comes to credit, missed payments are going to be the biggest thing that affects your credit score and credit standing. It is a great opportunity to build positive credit history. Again, paying on time, not telling you to take out student loans just to help your credit. If you don't have to do it, don't do it. But with the way costs are, many of us may have to do that, and most do. But in full, on time, make your payments. Know those implications of credit cards. If whatever we don't pay, if we just make the minimum payment, whatever's remaining is going to revolve to the next month. So again, manage those responsibly. Don't be like me and use it to live beyond your means and trying to keep up with others and racking up debt. Not fun. That free T-shirt, that cost me hundreds, if not, I know, well over $1,000 in interest. But once I paid off the card, it took years. And once I paid it off, I closed it, which isn't a great idea either, because that was my basically earliest form of credit. And 15% of our credit score, it's the length of our credit history. That's my oldest card, my oldest account. So I just shortened my credit history. So that's also not a great thing. As well. But understand, if you make your payments in full on time with the credit card, you pay nothing in interest. That's the way to do it. You want to limit your debt any way, shape, or form possible. Again, not always easy, but it is important. If the credit's not great, it's going to take the passage of time. It's going to take on-time payments with this, and slowing down opening new credit accounts as well. Those are going to be really the only ways to repair and improve your credit. Know the cost of borrowing. So, when it comes to student loans, you will go through entrance counseling. Make sure we pay attention to that. We're not just clicking on things, and then exit counseling as well. So really understanding, what we're doing. Know your repayment options with those federal loans. There's going to be a few different options available to you, something that can help you get into a more affordable plan. There's a possibility of consolation. So putting loans together, perhaps. So you may have multiple loans and making different payments, putting those together, but that may be beneficial, having a single payment, but that might limit some of the repayment options that we have in the future once we consolidate some of those loans. Look at a student loan forgiveness as well. Again, like I mentioned, there are industries, jobs that may qualify for it. 10 years of on-time payments, and what's remaining of student loans may be forgiven as well. And then know that the understanding, if we're not able to make payments, we're missing payments, that's really going to hurt your credit. And also know that student loans, even if we have to file for bankruptcy, and bankruptcy is going to be basically going into a court, pulling out your pockets and saying, I have no way to repay these people. Student loans don't get discharged. They don't go away in bankruptcy. They are like the Terminator. They get bigger, meaner, faster, stronger. And for those of you that weren't around with Terminator, that doesn't leave. So those of you who are older get it. Those of you younger probably don't. But that's okay. But they're unstoppable with that. So understand that if you're ever having troubles, reach out to your servicer. They'd rather work out a plan. They'd rather take some money than no money with that. And they're going to be a lot more receptive to work with you if you're the one reaching out for this. Really quickly, I want to talk about college savings. The most common type is going to be the 529 plan. So money goes in there tax-free. It can be taken out tax-free for education costs. There may be options to invest that money as well. So you'll need to name a beneficiary with that. Every state is a little bit different. So look into your state as far as 529 plans as well. Naming a beneficiary, if that person doesn't go, you may be able to move that to a different beneficiary, but it can only be used for education expenses, tuition, and things related to college as well. But the 529 plan, something to look into. And again, every state's going to be a little bit different. So really quickly, I know we're getting towards the end, but if you are a high school senior, class of 2025, yeah, look at alive. You want to be finalizing your college list if we have not already. Committing to a school or saying I'm going here. If you haven't, do those applications. If you haven't already, we're getting a little bit late here in the spring, but better late than never. Take a look at what the schools may offer for financial aid, different scholarships. Be in contact with their financial aid offices. Make sure we're submitting those applications. Know what's needed for those applications. And have this information ready because there may be, especially depending on the school, especially if it's something more specialized. Perhaps you may have additional interviews. You may have to provide a portfolio of work, perhaps. So understand and know the application process to different schools. And decisions are going to have to be made with this. And then make sure that your college is getting your final high school transcripts with all of this. But we don't necessarily have to be locked into a school the whole time. You're talking to somebody that went to 4 different schools in 6 years. So a little bit of transfer. If you don't have to do that, don't, because it's going to be a lot cheaper if you don't. Don't have 3 sophomore years like myself with this. But jumped around schools and programs and everything like that. So definitely understand some of this stuff. But again, it's been a little bit for me. And then preparing for your freshman year of college as well. So are we living on campus, off campus? Are we commuting? Perhaps, and just kind of understanding what we're going to need for our different classes and being ready and prepared for that here as well. If we are class of 2026, all in the mix, prepare for standardized testing if we have not already. So does the school need ACT, SAT? If there's any preparation you could do before those tests, make sure you do that. And also, this is just my own personal tip. Make sure you've got new batteries in your calculator for the ACT. Nothing worse than sitting down the ACT and your calculator dies. That happened to me. So trying to do the math stuff, no calculator. That wasn't fun. So just to put some new batteries in that TI-84. I don't even know. I think they're still using TI-84s. I hope so. Explore potential colleges, university, trade schools. What's going to work for you? What would you like to do with this? Make sure that we are maintaining a good grade point average with all of this. That's going to be really, really important. And then, before your senior year, start building those connections. How, those letters of recommendation. So when it comes to teachers, it could be those that lead clubs, places of worship, perhaps, employer, so who might be able to, write a great letter of recommendation for us, not only for applying for schools, but also applying for scholarships as well. And then for those, class of 2027 and later, so make sure that we're making great, our grades are important, that academic performance, grades aren't everything, but they are a lot. So make sure that we are maintaining good grades. Also, great opportunity while we're in school to take a look at those extracurriculars. So it could be sports, it could be clubs. We could find things that we might be interested in. You just never know with this. So I like to think before working, and you may be able to tell with the whole microphone setup that before working for Altra many, many lifetimes ago, I worked in radio. And my first experience really with radio was in high school. It was basically a tech ed class that before school we were able to play some music, and over basically the intercom system kind of have our own little radio station. So that was one of the things that helped get me interested in a career I ended up doing later in life as well. So you just never know. So taking a look at those extra curriculars, and some of those may be able to help with scholarships, and also build letters of recommendations and build friendships that last forever. Again, those relationships, like we mentioned, but enjoy the journey with all of this as well. A lot's happening, but yeah, take it all in. Other resources real quick. So it could be money that we have saved from part-time, full-time jobs, other savings, money from parents, family, and again, your employer or possibly other, parent, guardian, things like that. They may be able, or they may have some sort of tuition reimbursement. There may be apprenticeships that we may be able to do, some of the trade schools or crafts or things like that. Military may be another option as well, as far as paying for school. So other things to consider. So big takeaways. I know we're getting here towards the end, but can't recommend this enough. Save, 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 save. Have a plan. Also, while you're currently in school, if you're able to take, AP honors classes or some of those post-secondary options, so those college level classes, many high schools I know offer them. So you get college credit while you're in high school. They're classes you don't have to pay for, and they're classes you don't have to take in the future and pay for them again. So that can help lighten your load in the future. Know the cost of your education. Again, the U.S. Department of Education, that college scorecard is going to be very, very handy. And that is collegescorecard.ed.gov. I have that in the chat for you to click on right there. Examine your options as well. Know all of your options. Borrow only what you need for school. So only accept what you need. You don't want to take that money now and then pay a lot more later in the future. If you're able to look for less expensive housing, if you're maybe go to school close to home perhaps, and commute, or have different roommates or things like that. So in our transportation options, so does the school are you able to ride, let's say, public transportation? Students may ride free or at a reduced rate in many instances. Use student discounts as well. Have that student ID on there. I wish I still had mine. I don't think it would work any longer. I think they would figure out I'm not a college student any longer. But utilize some of those student discounts also online as well. There's things that you can get reduced or possibly even free, with the ID, with a college email address. If you're able to rent or get textbooks used, that's gonna really, really help, because textbooks can be very, very costly, and you sell those back to the school or to the bookstore, and they give you like next to nothing on there. Have a spending plan while we're in school. Do your best to stick with it. Again, not easy whatsoever, but it is really important. And then contact your college's financial aid office. Look for other scholarships, resources, ways in which we can make college more affordable. But it definitely is worth it. Numerous studies have shown that those with college education, with additional education, not only do they earn more in their lifetime, you have more options, and also less likely to be unemployed as well. So able to earn an income. So investing in your education is really, really important. Like I mentioned, I wouldn't be able to do the job that I have right now without a four-year degree. That was one of the requirements. My degree, it's in communication. Like I mentioned, radio, TV, television news I did previously, but that helped me move to different industries by having that education as well. So, whatever you plan on doing in the future, never stop learning. I can't stress that enough with all this. But really, really important. And again, really appreciate everybody taking the time to make sure that we're able to help and make college more affordable here. So we're just about here at the